Hello and welcome to Comic Community News. This is the show that lets you know the important things going on in the comic book world, whether that's speculation and how the market is doing, or whether that's hot new books you want to make sure you don't miss next week, or whether it's reviews to let you know which books were worth the time and money. That's what we're all about here at Comic Community News. If that sounds good to you, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to the news. That's right. Our top story tonight, as always, is the comic book speculation market, or as we've come to call it, the financial Viagra. That thing that just won't stop going up no matter what we do about it. In this case, we're going to talk a little bit this week about independent comic books. Those books that are not published by Marvel or DC directly, but instead have other publishers behind them. As you've noticed behind me here, I have several examples for you, whether you consider Image to be independent or not, or Vertigo in its heyday to be independent or not. These are books that don't involve your typical cape and cowl superheroes, but instead tread lightly in separate continuity for the most part. Yes, lately we've seen a ton of growth and change in the speculation on independent comic books. With television shows like The Boys or The Walking Dead, the market seems to feel like there's room for purchasing these kinds of books and then trying to maybe resell or flip them at a later time. So for today, I'm going to give us a little bit of a red light, yellow light, green light, some different books in different categories that you might consider either selling right away, holding on to, or looking out for if you can find them for a good price. First up, I have to talk about a little bit of a red light for you, and that is going to be Invincible. Yes, this show is super hot, just finished its first season over the animated form of Amazon Prime, but however, I must caution you into rushing out and paying exorbitant prices for a first appearance of Invincible. These books, I think, are a little bit overpriced right now. I don't know that the market for these is going to bloom somehow. The adult animation market is a tricky one, and I do consider it to be something of a dangerous purchase in high grade right now. I do feel like the market and the consistency of independent comics to make money is not a good one. Everybody thinks that they're going to find a Walking Dead 1, but even Walking Dead 1 has gone down considerably from its heyday. Instead, what we end up with a lot of times is a Preacher #1, which I'm not commenting on the quality of the comic book, not a huge fan here, but I am commenting on the quality of its ability to maintain a price. Preacher's a great example of a comic that went way up. The show came out, and it's gone way back down. If you want to get a 9.8 of Preacher right now, is a really, really good time. But let's talk a little bit of some other red lights. I do think Something's Killing the Children right now is a danger zone. Warning lights should be going off all around you if you're thinking of diving into the 9.8 Something's Killing the Children cover A market. These books are hitting all-time highs, $1,200. This is an insane price for this book, especially when the better cover can run you about $400 in a 9.8. I don't think it's the ground floor for this book. I do think it's going to continue to go up a little bit more, but I don't think it can maintain this number. Let's talk about a little yellow light. I would say Department of Truth is the perfect yellow light book. There's a lot of room for this one to grow if you can get it at a great price. People are not speccing on it the same way they are Something's Killing the Children, and I think it could be on that same level as far as quality, entertainment, and buzz. That's a really great title. So if you haven't heard of Department of Truth, I would recommend read it, seek it out. It might be something you really enjoy, and you can get great copies of that for a much better rate and maybe even hit the jackpot on a book going way up in the near future. But let's talk about some green lights, because I got two green light indies. If that's where you want to spec, firstly, I'd say read them, but then secondly, these are books that you might want to check out. Top of my list is Philadelphia. I really do think this is a great read and a book that definitely could go up in the future. Rodney Barnes, the writer, creator of this comic, has connections in Hollywood. He has made things for television. I have a feeling this could be a comic that he connects to TV in the future, maybe even a movie at some point. I know he says he's written a screenplay, he's written some things, he's trying to get representation for it in Hollywood. I do think this could go way, way up. And also, again, very entertaining story. If you haven't read it, grab that trade from Image $9.99. Gotta get it all day. and I think you'll be impressed, and it might be something you want to check out. My other green light pick is Paper Girls, which borders on that yellow light because people are talking about it a bunch, and when people are talking about it and it's appearing on hot lists and things, that is not the time to buy. That's my advice to you. Instead, Paper Girls is right there on the cusp. They're casting actresses for the show, and if this show hits well, that Paper Girls book could very easily find saga levels quickly. I think it's underrated, undervalued, and a really, really good story. So if you haven't read Paper Girls, my first recommendation is, hey, check it out. Secondly, if you enjoy it, that's a good green light independent comic if you want to avoid the something's killing the children blow up boom that everybody else is diving into. So that's it. That's my indies roundup. I do love independent comics. I think it's a great way to find good stories and good reads. I don't necessarily find it as a great place to make money speculation-wise. I think it's a little bit more of a quicksand kind of region. For every Walking Dead, there's about 100 preachers out there. So my recommendation is just be careful, be smart, and we'll see you on the flip side. John, back to you. Thank you, John. As always, we have our roving reporters through this comic community, those people that are helping us out, letting us know about their feelings on hot books, speculation-wise, or current reviews. We have a very special member of the comic community involved today. I'd like... What? What's up, mother? I'm back. What the... I take a much-needed vacation, and this whole YouTube channel goes to... So I'm back to fix this. Roving reporter John reporting for duty. Let me tell you, you ignored my advice about specking on great indies like Something is Killing the Children. Now I am here to help you again. The best indies right now are We Live from Aftershock. It's starting to heat up, but I've been telling you for a while about it. Also, Origins from Boom Studios is another great hit. If you skip this time, it won't be my fault, mother. Peace out. Good luck with your channel, John. Well, thank you, John, for that very special report. Not sure if we'll pay much attention to you. You are a robot after all. But hey, I appreciate you taking the time, and we love our robotic overlords. Now on to some reviews. My first up from Marvel is Beta Ray Bill. And a lot of people have been talking about this book because it is a really well thought out comic. Daniel Warren Johnson is writing and drawing this book about a character that you might not have read about before, and for many of you it would be an ideal jumping on point to get to know Bill a little bit better. I've only noticed him when he pops in and out of Thor comics, so this is really my first time reading a Beta Ray Bill story in long form. He's tortured right now in the comics. He has lost his hammer, the tool that allowed him to turn from normal-looking individual into this sort of horse beast-looking, muscle-bound hero. I'm excited to see where this goes. The artwork is fantastic. Daniel Warren Johnson, if you don't know, from Wonder Woman Dead Earth, doing a great job here. So if you want to dive in, 2 issues have been published. You might snag these 2 books and find something really entertaining that you will enjoy from Marvel. From DC, my book is going to be Batman Black and White. I've been talking about how good this was from the beginning. I really do like this set of stories. Unlike the typical DC anthology stuff that they've been doing, where you get one story and then a backup story, and they're both connecting continuity-wise to something bigger, this is just simply individual short little stories that are entertaining, fun, and have great talent behind them. Case in point is the Choose Your Own Adventure story that was published most recently in issue 5. I was laughing a ton. Riddler, you're chasing him through this wonderful maze, and you've got to decide from panel to panel, what will Batman do? This was very creative. I also really enjoyed the Harvey Dent Two-Face storyline, a sort of throwback to the Long Halloween. wonderfully well done. This has been a really wonderful, fun book. If you're looking for a Batman comic, this could be something you really enjoy. Only one more issue left to publish. Overall, I've really enjoyed all 5, and that is my DC pick. My independent comic is going to be Two Moons. They've published 3 issues so far. It follows a Native American who was involved in the Civil War, but he has started to have some visions. He is a little bit troubled by his family past and some of the decisions he's made during the war. And it's all starting to drive him a little bit crazy. And the deeper he goes down this sort of spirit quest that he's on, the more he starts to see the world maybe how it truly is, and to notice some of the demons surrounding him. I think this is one of the better drawn and really entertaining books that nobody's really talking about. So this is from Image Comics. It's called Two Moons, and that's my indie recommendation for you. All right, now on to some speculation for what's coming out next week. John, what have you got for us? Thank you very much, John. Yeah, there's some great books coming out next week. It's a lighter week, thank goodness, because the last few have been biggies, but I definitely have some Marvel, DC, and indie picks that you might want to check out. Marvel's a little bit weak this week. I might only be getting 1 or 2 books, but I'm very curious about X-Corp #1. This is from Teenie Howard, who's been doing Excalibur, and I haven't been a big fan, so this is definitely a question mark kind of book for me. But Warren Worthington is getting his own lead character, and I'm a big fan of him. I like to see the business side of how is Krakoa staying afloat. Can they make that an exciting, action-filled read? Well, that remains to be seen, but I'm definitely going to be checking out X-Corp issue #1. I will say that they've got David Aja, who I'm a big fan of from the Hawkeye Matt Fraction run, doing variants for this whole series. I love his negative space, kind of simple 3-color style. So I'm definitely going to be snagging some of these covers, if nothing else, just for those awesome Asia artworks. From DC, we've got a digital first comic, which I'm not sure means if it was published there and now they're finally printing it, which is what I think, or if it's going to be only digital, but we've got a new Justice League comic book. It's called Justice League Last Ride #1. Seems to be looking at the end of the Justice League. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. What happened to the team? I'm not super interested in this one, except that it's written by Chip Zdarsky. I'm a big fan of his. He's been doing a bunch of great things, Daredevil most notably. So could he be writing a really interesting Justice League comic book? Might need to be checking this one out if you're a fan of his or a fan of the Justice League. So that is coming out next week. We've also got another book that I'm only mentioning because of the artwork. This is going to be Future State Gotham. And in this one, it looks like Jason Todd's got to decide, is he going to hunt down this next Batman character, or is he going to team up with him to rescue Gotham from the state that it is in? I'm picking this book because it is my cover of the week. Wow. What a beautiful piece of artwork. Again, simple, negative space. I love the way they use the city and the iconography of Batman to create something really original. So there you go, Batman fans, Future State Gotham. But that leaves indies and my overall pick for May 12th, and that's going to be David Pepos' Scout's Honor issue 5. The end of Scout's Honor, which has been such a fantastic read, a really great original indie book that I think people should be checking out in droves. So it all wraps up here with issue #5. I have a feeling it's going to be my read of the week. So definitely, if you have not checked it out yet, take a look at Aftershocks Scout's Honor. All right, that's it for what's coming out next week. Back to you, John. Thank you, John. And that about wraps it up for us. We really thank you for coming by, hitting the like button, and checking out what we're doing. This is our weekly edited show, that comic community news to help you. We appreciate all of you who've been roving reporters. Sorry that we got interrupted this week, but if you want to be a roving reporter, hit me up on Instagram and we will add you to our roving reporter crew. Thank you for hanging out. As always, the links for all the Tag Team Thursday crew are down below, and you should check them out. We're moving on to that Old Wolf's channel next, so we'll see you next time. Stay classy, comic book community.